Hello, gents. It's R.P.M. here. And as the modern woman has completely priced herself out of the market, I ask you, why pay to settle when you can pay for exactly what you want? With such models as Nava, Lashandra, and for those of you who want a little more junk in the trunk, Haley and her twin sister Bailey, you can find exactly what you want at the Dollhouse, DC Dollhouse, or the Dollhouse San Antonio. And remember, gents, when the power goes out, feminism will go out right along with it. However, your doll will never experience this. When you're ready, click those links in the description box. RPM, I am out. What is going on, gents? It's RPM here, reporting from Mobile Command. South Korea and Waifus. Boy, this country has a major hard-on to do everything they can to keep South Korean men away from the waifu. Now, let's take a trip back in time, shall we? To November 1st, 2018. No pandemic, no OnlyFans, no nothing. South Korea University mandatory dating class. You know, your birth and marriage rates are in the toilet when you literally force college students to date each other. South Korean universities have courses that make it mandatory for students to date their classmates. Students have to date each other in 3 randomly assigned pairings. Courses on dating, sex, love, and relationships are trying to increase coupling and eventually the birth rate. And the marriage and birth rate are still in the toilet. No. Scratch that. It's in the sewers. Now, that lays the groundwork for what I'm about to go into insofar as the waifu. January 25th, 2021. Court allows import of life-sized waifus. A Seoul court has allowed the import of life-sized dolls, saying such sex toys are for personal use and do not corrupt public morals. Boom! There you go. I remember covering this. So many people wanted to ban the import of waifus. And of course, they used the typical Western feminist talking points of, oh, it's objectifying women and they're going to be used for rape dolls and all that stuff. Get the hell out of here. A doll is not a living, sentient being. It is nothing more than a life-sized masturbatory tool. End of. But does that stop the Koreans? Nope. Now, the article that I'm going to be talking about was published on the 13th of April. Waifu Experience Cafe, condemned by residents in Yongin. South Korean parents of young students are reacting nervously to the recent openings of waifu experience shops or cafes in their neighborhoods around the country. People, you're lost. Give it up. But we always know why they're having such a bad reaction to the waifu. We know why. Following the Supreme Court's ruling last June in favor of the importation of life-size waifus, several hundreds of new businesses have reportedly opened nationwide, offering in-store experiences with the waifu. Very, very good business model. However, I would lay out my plan later if I were to go into said business. But parents of young students, they have to go with the word young to make it sound like they're around elementary school children. In particular, seem to be losing their patience with the spread of what they call hazardous facilities. See, a chemical plant is a hazardous facility. A military or a police shooting range is a hazardous facility. No. Mm-mm. In Yongin, about 50 kilometers south of Seoul, a businessman opened up a waifu experience cafe last Saturday in a district dotted with elementary and middle schools, but was forced to call it quits only 3 days later in the face of stubborn protests from parents and residents. Wow. However, I think this is actually pretty smart, and I'll explain later. Soon after the opening of the Experience Cafe, a citizen started an online petition on the website of Yongin City Hall asking authorities to nullify the cafe's business permit due to its harmful effects on the neighborhood youth. Wow. Just wow. 3 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school, and 11 child education facilities are located within a 500-meter radius of the Waifu Experience Cafe that operates on the second floor of a shopping mall on a main street in Yongin, the petitioner said, calling for the cancellation of its business permit. Some people really have nothing else better to do in life than to wake up and find something to be offended about. Yeah, way too much time on their hands. A large number of Yongin residents also vented their anger and dismay at the Waifu Cafe in various online communities. As the petition gathered signatures from 36,618 people as of 11 a.m. Wow, I wonder if that many people actually live in said city. Tuesday, the businessman whose identity was withheld made public his decision to close the cafe, saying his shop is not an illegal facility, but he finds it difficult to do business in the face of strong opposition from residents. The man said he spent about 40 million won, about 35,500 US, to open the cafe after confirming that his shop is a legitimate business entity, just like adult toy shops. He should not have caved under the pressure. Indeed, the municipality said there was no way to sanction the Waifu Experience Cafe as it belongs to a free business that can be started by simply reporting it to the tax office. So, with all things appearing to be legal, He should not have closed his shop. But once again, I look at the long run. This is actually a smart move on his part, because for every one shop that might be closed, there are going to be a whole lot who do what? Go underground. Now, if I were a waifu experience dealer, kind of make it sound like a drug dealer, but anyway, if I were in that business, here's what I would do. I would have a facility outside the city, buy the land, make it private property. I would have the waifus shipped there, of course, have guards around it, and I would have it to where the customer could actually phone in or, go online, pick out which one they want to have their experience with, actually bring it to them, to their home for a said amount of time. After they're done, take it back. And it will be inside of a flight case. That way people can't say, well, that looks like, no, well, you're being too nosy. Stay out of our business. And of course, for the rentals, I would only use the waifus with the removable, insert. That way, if they say, well, you know what, I want to actually buy one, then I would say, okay, well, we can give you one that has the actual built-in vagina and go from there. That way, people can't say, oh my God, this is near a school. Nope. My facility's outside the city on private property. That way, if you do decide to protest, you can't really say anything about it. That's just how I would do the business. Instead of like Uber Eats, make it waifu meets. I ain't shit. But we're talking about a country that literally had to force college students into dating. Now, this was way before the waifu came into play. But we know why. It's just like certain states over here that are trying to get waifus banned. Oh, you think I'm not going to talk about the states over here in this country that's trying the same thing? Oh, yeah. I got some smoke for those states. But anyway, yeah, it's all about trying to control male productivity through male sexuality. Yeah. See, the waifu represents an option that men were not supposed to have. Option. See, when you try to remove the option, you make it stronger. You draw more people into it. A la prohibition. Trying to get rid of alcohol. What happened? Speakeasies opened up. To the point that eventually the government had to relent. Why? Because they saw how much money was going to be made off of the sale of alcohol. I mean, hell, you can look to modern times with weed, recreational use marijuana. I believe it was Colorado, don't quote me on this, who once they actually made weed legal statewide, they generated so much money they didn't know what to do with it all. But once again, I find it very rich that the same people who have no problem with female, pleasure items, i.e. vibrators, dildos, they have such a horrible negative reaction to the waifu. which is nothing more than a life-size, more expensive depending on where you get it from, male pleasure item. And just like the Supreme Court of Soul said, it's nothing more than something for personal use. But remember, gentlemen, our only outlet for sexual desire is supposed to be in the form of a full-fledged relationship with a woman. If you're a heterosexual male, that's supposed to be your only way to get your desire met. You're supposed to fit into this nice, neat little box of almost servitude. Yeah. Oh, yeah. When you look at guys of today, it doesn't matter what country you're in, but when you look at men, you look at couples, the guy looks almost subservient to the woman. Why? Because she'll always come out and say, well, you know what? I'll leave you. I'll do this. I'll do that. And the guy is so desperate to keep that woman in his life, he literally gives up his balls. Yes, dear. Yes, dear. She threatens to leave you. Okay. Well, once again, this is the complete programming of the scarcity mindset into men. But see, gentlemen, the waifu can actually fight against that. But it's not an option for all men. Let's be crystal clear on that. However, more men are starting to realize and say, you know what? The modern woman has become so toxic, so insufferable. This is an option that at first I would have never thought about. But with the way that society has set up more and more misandric laws, you know what? I still want that feminine form, but I don't want everything that comes along with it. So you know what? At this point, fuck it. Why not? Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. But I will say this. The one modern country that finally decides to stamp out feminism will be the country that rules the world. Just saying. Just saying. But, yeah, so many Korean women are left over. And I find that funny also. The fact that there's always more women than there are men. Ladies, I don't get it. I really don't. But I'm going to say this and I'm going to get out of here. The artificially inflated, empowered matriarchy that exists under the true patriarchy, which are the people above them that fund feminism, have completely destroyed the social contract between the average man and the average woman. But that system cannot sustain itself. It can't, because that system still requires men to protect it and maintain it. But as more men decide to walk away, you can blame everything, but they don't want to blame the true cause of it, which is female empowerment, or artificial female empowerment to keep their consumer base happy. But as we all see, societies around the world are burning. Not literal, but I think one day there will be a literal burnout. It is what it is. That's all I got to say for this. Read the articles. And ladies, the power will eventually go out. Feminism and all of the artificial power that you've been granted will go out right along with it. However, the man with the waifu, he's going to sit back and watch it all collapse and laugh his head off. Some men, just want to watch the world burn. And I'm pretty sure waifu owners are among those men. That's all I got to say for this one. RPM, I am